Top of the hour, everyone. This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon, 11 p.m. here on the East Coast, live with breaking news. It's out of Ohio in that special election, too close to call in Ohio's 12th district. CNN's political experts are here with me, but first I want to get to CNN's chief national correspondent, John King. John, what are the results at this hour? What can you tell us?
Don, the results this hour tell us that Troy Balderson is leading tonight. We can't make that official, though, for a number of reasons. I'll get to the big reasons in a moment. Let me just show you the vote count. Troy Balderson ahead by 1,766 votes. He's the Republican candidate, so he's probably about to celebrate tonight. I'll get to the buts in a minute. Just the fact that it's that close is interesting. But if Troy Balderson holds on and wins, he will have Delaware County to thank for it. Right here, Franklin County is the big for the Democrats. Delaware County came in for Troy Balderson tonight. The numbers here, too, not just the 54%. The numbers there, a nearly 5,000 vote margin in Delaware County. That was enough to offset the big margin Danny O'Connor had down here. Let's come back to the district. We'll keep it at the county level so you can see the breakdown. All of the votes, we might get a few votes in from precincts tonight, but all of the votes we expect to be accounted tonight. Here's the issue. Troy Balderson will go to bed tonight in the lead, 50.2% to 49.3%. This is what is outstanding. We have absentee ballots still to be counted. Outstanding absentee ballots. Doesn't mean they all come in, but the Secretary of State says there are more than 5,000, 5,048 to be exact, outstanding absentee ballots. There are also more than 3,400, 3,435 is the number, provisional ballots. These are somebody who shows up at a precinct. The local precinct worker's not sure they belong there. They're not in the right place. They cast a provisional ballot. The legality of that, the appropriateness of that gets checked in the days ahead. So you have here 8,400 plus change their votes, 8,500 votes roughly, still to be counted or sorted out. Doesn't mean there'll be this number in the end, but the Secretary of State says 5,048 outstanding absentee ballots, 3,435 outstanding provisional ballots. The question is, does it change this? In most elections, be honest with you, it does not. In most elections, even when you go through this, these tend to stand, but this one's pretty close, 1,766 votes. The Republicans will be breathing a sigh of relief tonight, but the lawyers, the election watchers, will be involved tomorrow, Don. We won't be able to say who officially wins for a little bit.
I just want to ask you, John, because you said this was a moral victory for Democrats if it was this close tonight. I'm sure you still believe that, but, I mean, what does this mean come November?
Well, you just heard Danny O'Connor, the Democrat. He did not concede the race by any means, but I think he knows in the back of his mind it is more likely than not he's not going to win tonight, and therefore he's on the ballot in November. This district will be fought again in November. All the money that was just spent in the special election, guess what? Welcome to running again in November. Now, the Republicans will argue your best shot was in this lower turnout special election, but this race will stay on the map, especially given this. Again, the last Republican who won here, it was a blowout. A Democrat has not represented this district since Ronald Reagan was president of the United States. The fact that Danny O'Connor is within 1,766 votes is a moral victory for the Democrats. A moral victory does not get you an office in Washington. You have to win the election. Other Democrats around the country will think of it as a moral victory, saying this proves to them that the landscape is very favorable to the Democrats. If Republicans are having a hard time in solid red Republican territory, then if you're a Democrat running in a Republican district, say, that Hillary Clinton carried, or a Republican district that the incumbent just squeaked to victory, you feel pretty good tonight, and you think this is proof Republicans are in trouble. If you're Danny O'Connor, you're a little disappointed. You're looking for a few more votes here, but you're going to have your people looking at this tomorrow before we can, sign, seal, and deliver this one. They got to go through the rest.
Yeah. Mr. John King, thank you very much. I want to get back now to my political dream team. Gloria, you were wondering if someone would take credit for this, if the Republican candidate actually pulled it off. So the president's just tweeting now. When I decided to go to Ohio for Troy Balderson, he was down in early voting, 64 to 36. That was not good. After my speech on Saturday night, there was a big turnout for the better. Now Troy wins a great victory during a very tough time of the year for voting. He will win big in November. Again, the president calling it. We're not calling it now. It's too close to call for us. There are a lot of things that go into it, but it looks like likely if things continue to go in this manner.
And of course, Donald Trump is taking credit. But I want to say who else should take credit for this victory, if it is a victory, and that's John Kasich. Because John Kasich's the guy, if Balderson wins, who brought out those suburban women who don't like Donald Trump in Delaware County, and those moderate Republicans. Now you're giving me the evil eye.
Yeah, let me tell you why.
I'm not saying I'm not giving Trump any credit, But let me say, even though Kasich was late to the game, he did endorse the Republican. He is popular in the state, more popular with Democrats and independents than Republicans. But I do think that Kasich could have also pushed this for a Republican win.
Sure, there's a lot of things that go into an election victory, but Donald Trump coming into the district not only juiced turnout, guess where he came? Delaware County.
Right.
That's where the rally was.
Right.
So the idea that he didn't have an impact in Delaware County.
I'm not saying he didn't.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but I think there's been some talk about that. Look, I think there's two things that are really important to talk about. One is the president came in the special we lost in Pennsylvania when we were down, and we only lost by about 1,000 votes. We probably should have had him in there sooner.
Right.
And so he can absolutely talk about how he came in here and turned this around. The numbers of what he tweeted about were accurate in terms of the early vote. The second thing that's really important, Jason.
Down by 64 to 36.
That's so misleading, the early vote. I mean, Democrats always overperform an early vote. That's like saying that, oh, my goodness, he was down with 1% precincts voting, and I came in, and now all of a sudden he had this miraculous victory.
What I'm saying, hang on, I was going to make a second point. Hang on a second. First of all, what he said is a fact. Second of all, there's another really important thing that happened in this race. We were talking, Jason Kander said, say what you actually believe. Don't try to trick people. Danny O'Connor went on television and would not answer who he would vote for Speaker over and over and over again, looked incredibly political, kept saying, we need new leadership, we need new leadership. Chris Matthews finally nailed him and said, will you vote for the Democrat nominee for Speaker, who will be Nancy Pelosi? He said, yes. That was a massive turning point in this race. It told Republicans what this race was actually about. Nancy Pelosi represents, she has worse numbers than Hillary Clinton did in the 2016 election. That will play out in suburban district after suburban district to our advantage, and that was a massive thing.
That was a fumble because he was on the right side politically of this issue, where Conor Lamb and many other Democratic candidates are. When I say the right side, I mean they are saying very explicitly they will not vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker or leader or whatever it will be, and he did say that at the beginning, and he fumbled that in a big way.
Well, but it's not just that. It's also not true. They will vote for Pelosi. She will be nominated, and if they don't, if they won the House, hang on a second, if they won the House, right, and Pelosi's on the floor, this isn't in the caucus, it's a floor vote. They don't vote for Pelosi, then guess what? Kevin McCarthy's going to want to be in the Speaker, and so
no.
And
They're going to
Matthews,
she's okay. We don't want to get into it, but she's
not going to happen.
She cares enough. She cares enough about the party and about keeping Democrats in control, if that's the way that the numbers play out in November, that she'll make sure that somebody else is the leader. But regardless of that, she'll make sure she'll step aside.
Let's say she went to the caucus.
Sorry.
Can we stick to what's happening now?
Democrats will vote for her.
Okay, listen, guys, I got to get it. Balderson is taking the stage. Hey, stand by, everyone. Balderson is taking the stage. Let's listen.
Well, I'm honored, very honored, for the opportunity to represent the voters of the 12th Congressional District and who they have bestowed on me. I have so many people to thank tonight. Some behind me right here, my son Joshua, his fiancee, Chelsea, who's getting married next April, my girlfriend Melanie. I want to thank God. More importantly, my mom and dad, who aren't able to hear with us this evening, the thousands and thousands of volunteers that work this grassroots campaign. Thank you all very, very much for all that you have done. The phone banking, the door knocking, all of it. It's been phenomenal, and it's a great honor for me. I'd like to thank President Trump. Mr. President, coming to town, I'd also like to take the time to thank Vice President Pence for coming in next week. And the big shoes that I'll be filling. I wouldn't have got through a lot without him through this process. Congressman Pat Tiberi. I'd also like to take this opportunity and time to also thank Chairman Steve Stivers. He's been a great asset to me and has been helping me all through this process. Chairman, thank you. There's many others. I could just keep going on and on. But tonight, I'm going to promise to you that I'm going to work relentlessly relentlessly for this 12th congressional district. America is on the right path, and we're going to keep it going that way. It's time to get to work. Over the next 3 months, I'm going to do everything I can to keep America great again, so that when we come back here in November, get ready, we got to come back here in November. I have earned your vote for a second time. Danny O'Connor ran a hard race, and I look forward to campaigning against him again this fall. Thank you all so much for all your support. God bless you, and God bless America.
That is the Republican candidate for the congressional race in Ohio, Ohio's 12th congressional district. There, that is Troy Balderson, essentially declaring victory. Listen, we have not called it yet. All the votes are not in. If things continue on in the way that they're going, it is likely that Balderson will be declared soon the official winner of this. I want to bring back in now my political dream team. Gloria, I think it's interesting because you mentioned John Kasich, right?
He didn't.
He did not. He mentioned Trump. He mentioned Pence. He even mentioned, the old person, the person who had the seat before. But he did not mention John Kasich.
Many others.
And many, and the rest, like Gilligan's Island in the beginning.
Obviously Kasich was late to the game. Kasich was grudging in his endorsement, and that was obvious. But he did it, and I still believe that Kasich helped him.
And also because of the comments Kasich made on the Sunday shows on Sunday, questioning whether Balderson requested Trump to come there. And that made a lot of news, where Balderson had to come out and say, oh no, I was very happy to have the president come there.
Since we're on this subject,
Trump doesn't like Kasich either.
No.
I've got one quick question for Ryan before we get to the break here, because the president loves to talk about how he backs winners. But I just want you to check this out. When Trump has made endorsements in Republican primaries, he's 18-1, right? But when you look at the general and special elections, he's 1-3. What does that say about his candidate's chances in November?
Well, look, this is another indication that this is Donald Trump's party. The candidate here didn't even thank the governor of his state. Usually
who held that seat? Who also held that seat when he was a member of the House?
That's right.
For years.
It was his seat. And there's no doubt about it in these primaries. There are a couple of other races tonight we're watching, one in Kansas to see if Trump's candidate won. But in Michigan, a Trump-backed candidate, I believe, has won, John James. So in primaries, in Republican primaries, they are all about who is the Trumpiest candidate, right? There's just no doubt about that. On the other hand, this special election would not have been close if not for the backlash against Donald Trump and his policies. So Balderson was fighting for his life here because of Trump.
That's a really important point. Trump's margin has gone down in this district. Like he won this district by 11 points. Now we're at 0.09 here. So the trend is moving the wrong direction. That's why it bodes well for November.
Everybody stay with me. When we come back, we're going to have many more results on another race where the president made a controversial endorsement. How that candidate is faring tonight. We'll be right back.